My most recent real estate development client pulled me aside and begged me to teach them how to fix their budget disasters. And we cracked it in 5 days. And we noticed something absolutely mind-blowing. That even though their projects range from $5 million all the way to $170 million in value, every single one had the same hidden problem. And even worse, it's the exact same issue that 87% of developments across the globe are facing today. We compressed this 60-hour workshop that we held into just 3 game-changing steps. The last one will make your jaw hit the floor. Stay tuned to the end for an added budget-controlling innovation that'll tame all of your dragons of chaos. Hi guys, I'm Toby, and for the last 15 years, I've worked as a real estate development specialist who takes projects from business plan and feasibility all the way through to construction, sales, and handover. And having completed nearly $9 billion worth of real estate development across 4 continents, I specialize in turning the world's most complex projects into simple and easy to execute steps and systems. Our vision for this video and for this channel is to create and to help you achieve uncommon productivity and success in a commonly unproductive industry. So let's get into it. Let's bulletproof your budget with these 3 shifts that will transform the way you build. Tip number 1 is optimism bias. One of our clients has backed major projects in the Middle East for the last 5 years, and they've told me that their last 3 investments have hit the exact same wall. Midway through the construction, their teams come back asking for more funds. Timelines are delayed, quality has been compromised, all because the original budgets were too hopeful and bullish. The root question that they wanted answering was, why does this keep happening? And how do we cut this reoccurring issue off at the root so it never happens again? And the answer was simple: solve for optimism bias. What is optimism bias? The optimism bias refers to our tendency to overestimate the likelihood of experiencing something positive and underestimate our likelihood of experiencing something negative. So it's expectation versus reality. At the start of a project, developers consciously or subconsciously tend to paint an overly rosy picture to win over investors. They inflate projected returns simply by slashing key assumptions around the build cost in those early feasibilities to make the deal look too good to pass up. And here's the truth: budgets don't collapse during construction. They fall apart in the first feasibility spreadsheet. And what investors actually want is a realistic forecast, even if it's 2 to 3% lower than projected returns. It saves them from horror shows of every 6 months. The teams are continually reporting lower projected profit margins and shrinking IRRs. The key takeaway here is don't fall into the trap of optimism bias. Demand real, grounded information from day one. Don't sell a fantasy, sell clarity. Transparency builds trust, and trust builds relationship. Tip number 2, think slow, build fast. The golden rule from the book, How Big Things Are Done, an absolute must read for anyone managing any project of any size, of any complexity, anywhere in the world. We have 0 affiliation with the book or author, is to think slow and act fast. Plan slow, build fast. In real estate development, that means front-loading your entire pre-construction phase and using this time to plan with military-like precision. Specifically, you need to be continually improving your feasibility, your design, your budgeting, your construction timeline, and value engineering. The most important point, the most important part of this stage is the value engineering. This is where you make value engineering more important than the air you breathe. This is where the money is made and saved. For example, we helped one of our US-based developers rework a 250-key 5-star hotel and saved $22 million without touching brand standards. We weren't cutting corners, we were crafting value. Value engineering isn't about swapping marble for MDF. It's a disciplined treasure hunt for over-engineered specification reductions, smarter material sourcing, faster build options, and higher perceived value material selection. And this isn't a one-off task. This is a continual cycle. Concept design, value engineer. Schematic design, value engineer. Detailed design, value engineer again. Another round and a final review before the tender and procurement documents go out the door. Even during construction, your team needs to be hunting for ways to boost quality, improve budget, and speed up your timeline. Improve the value throughout the development process. And we have a series of checklists that you can download from the link below that has over 200 different value engineering options that you can review for your development now. Or if you want to jump on a call and have a one-on-one conversation with us about all of this stuff, then follow the link below. But our key takeaway number 2 here is treat value engineering like treasure hunting. Keep up a relentless search for cost savings, quality upgrades, and time improving wins, all of which will maximize your ROI and make sure your budget goes much further. Tip number 3 is monitor your cost like a hawk. This one is simple but game changing. Track every cost, every dollar, every cent, every single line item. And better yet, put someone in charge of watching every number like a hawk. Make it their sole responsibility. But I'm not here to preach about this. I want to prove how massive an impact this can have. So let's bring in the big guns. Here are quotes from 3 of the greatest businessmen and investors who have ever lived, showing you why monitoring cost isn't just smart, it's absolutely essential. First up, we have Jeff Bezos, the mastermind of Amazon, and I quote, "We will work hard to spend wisely and maintain our lean culture. We understand the importance of continually reinforcing a cost-conscious culture. Everywhere we look, we find what the Japanese manufacturers would call muda, or waste. Even with $1 trillion empire, Bezos stays obsessed with cutting waste." Next, Andrew Carnegie, the steel titan who owned 2% of America's GDP in the 1800s. His advice was cut prices, scoop the market, and watch the costs and profit take care of themselves. Carnegie built his fortune by keeping costs low while scaling huge. The lesson is master your expenses and success is inevitable. And finally, we have Warren Buffett, the investing legend. He warned that his experience has been the manager of an already high cost operation frequently is uncommonly resourceful at finding new ways to add overhead, while the manager of a tightly run operation usually continues to find additional methods to curtail costs, even when his costs are lower than those of his competitors. In other words, stay vigilant. Costs will creep if you let them. This means weekly reviews. No set and forget. Your budget needs to be the breathing lifeblood of your business development and projects. No dusty Excel file that you check once a quarter. The key takeaway here is master your numbers. They show you the picture and health of your development in literally ones and zeros, because the tighter your grip on the numbers, the more money you will make. The bonus tip is reference class forecasting. And here's the strategy that changed how we forecast budgets forever. The reference class forecasting method is a way to take an outside view of your project, which helps to overcome optimism bias that often leads to cost overruns. Here's what that means. Instead of estimating your project, if you really want to make sure you've budgeted with complete security, look at similar real estate projects from the past, like houses, offices, retail spaces in your area, and identify and account for their specific failure points. It means we stop guessing and start looking at real past projects and not projections. You gather data from 10 to 20 similar developments, you strip out the outliers, and you look at what the average budget overrun was for them. Was it 5%, 10%, 30%? And then you apply the median overrun to your budget from the start. That's what Heathrow Terminal 5 did, that's what the Hudson Yards did, and that's how they stayed on budget and completed on program. The key takeaway here, budget based on accessible data. It's the difference between a guess and a guarantee of project and budget success. So let's recap. Kill the optimism bias, value engineer early and often, track every penny like your success depends on it, because it does, and use real world history to build your budgets that actually hold. If you want to understand how development is a repeatable set of steps from end to end, then watch this video here. And if you want to jump on a call and have a one-on-one conversation with us, about any of this stuff in a lot more detail, then follow the link below. Let's create uncommon productivity in this commonly unproductive industry. If this helped, drop your thoughts below. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I give you my word, I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Like, subscribe, all that algorithm boosting positive vibe, and check out our next video. Until then, I'm Toby. Thanks, guys.